This is the year 2014. In first world countries, people are glued to technology. The internet contains a multitude of possibilities, whether it's for communication, entertainment, or achieving fame. There's always new information flowing into the free world of the internet. There are numerous things happening on the web all at once. That means everyone can see what you put on it. Once it is online, it stays online, even if you delete it. On June 6, 2013, it was revealed by Edward Snowden that one of the top government intelligence groups, called the National Security Agency, has infringed our right to privacy. They are collecting bulk data on thousands around the world, because it is their responsibility to maintain the American citizens' safety. But violating our First and Fourth Amendment and taking away our right to privacy is unacceptable.
I think it's very naive to imagine that you can have separate branches of government when one branch, the executive, knows the entire private life and private communications, conversations of every member of the other branch.
Edward Snowden was the man who had leaked the documents, considered a hero by several and a criminal by others. Snowden was born on June 21, 1983, in Wilmington, North Carolina. He dropped out of high school and attended a community college. Soon thereafter, he moved to Hawaii and was employed by Booz Allen Hamilton to be a security guard for a government intelligence association called the National Security Agency, also known as the NSA. Snowden had access to top secret files. He discovered the alleged wrongdoing of the American government. They were collecting metadata on citizens worldwide. Phone calls, emails, photos, web chats, stored data, and social networking were being monitored and tracked. The NSA has admitted it received secret court approval to gather massive amounts of metadata from top internet companies, such as Verizon, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Yahoo, and Facebook. Miss Poitras is a film director, and she was hooked onto Snowden's story. Intrigued to whether he was telling the truth or not, she got in touch with Glenn Greenwald, a news reporter, and they all traveled to Hong Kong to conduct an interview.
My name's Ed Snowden. I'm 29 years old. I work for Booz Allen Hamilton as an infrastructure analyst for NSA in Hawaii.
Snowden was planning to leak the documents to WikiLeaks with the help of Laura Poitras. After the interview was let out, a target was put on his back. To clarify, Edward left not to trade our nation's secrets, but to be safe from persecution while our stunned government sorted out the situation. He faces 3 charges. The first charge is under the Espionage Act, reinforced in 1917, and the Sedition Act shortly followed. Both of these acts were made to harshly punish anyone who falsely accused or disgraced the United States, the armed forces, the government, the flag, or the nation itself. These acts were an attempt to target public pacifists, socialists, and anti-war activists during the period of World War I. These acts oppose the Constitution, specifically the Bill of Rights and the First and Fourth Amendment. The Espionage and Sedition Acts violate these amendments by suppressing our right to freedom of speech, the press, assembly, petition, and unreasonable searches and seizures. The government has also taken away our privacy rights to protect us from terrorists and other enemies. They use a system called metadata, when they tap into a person's calls or contacts and search for suspicious people. If they are deemed distrustful, the NSA will monitor them and their contacts as well. Metadata increases every day. As technology gets stronger, more and more data can be collected and used against you. The case against the NSA is being concluded with the help of U.S. District Judge Richard Leon, who declared, "I cannot imagine a more indiscriminate and arbitrary invasion than this systematic and high-tech collection and retention of personal data on virtually every citizen for purposes of querying it and analyzing it without prior judicial approval. Intelligence agencies that are suspicious of people don't need to be overseen by a court to access unknown information. According to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of the 1970s, also known as FISA, all requests are overseen by a court. Requests can include wiretapping, data analysis, or any monitoring of possible terrorists and spies. But the process is much different than what the government enforces. All government requests for foreign intelligence information must show facts of a crime that is being, has been, or will be committed. But in reality, all requests only have to show that the information is of foreign power. The foreign power means foreign government, political organization or business, and any group involved in international terrorism. Resisting accusations, NSA Director General Keith Alexander told the Senate Judiciary Committee that 15 separate judges of the FISA Court have held on 35 occasions that Section 215 of the Patriot Act authorizes the collection of telephone metadata in bulk in support of counterterrorism investigations. This was without the public's consent because the court and invasion is secret. In 2007, over 2,000 applications for wiretaps were granted for FISA. Along with this is the Electronic Communications Privacy Act, which allows government to access stored emails, telephone lines, and other electronic communications. There is not an event ever recorded in which the NSA metadata collection actually solved or stopped an attack, or benefited the society in accomplishing an objective that was time-sensitive. Therefore, this widespread monitoring is fairly pointless and has failed to make us safer. On February 22, 2014, the NSA had revealed an article written in 1996 from an NSA magazine called Cryptologic Quarterly. The article was about what would happen if an employee did leak any files, followed by a scenario that could happen. According to the article and Snowden's actions, it seems he is using the article as a guide to his success. A question we face is, why did Snowden make such a big deal out of it when he could have just told his boss the system was corrupted and resolved the problem? Well, while federal law protects whistleblowers who report such mismanagement, those who work in intelligence are specifically denied those rights. When Senior Staff Representative Diane Roark and longtime senior NSA employees Bill Binney and Ed Loomis submitted a proper complaint about mismanagement at the company, the government's response on July 26, 2007 was to send the FBI to invade their homes, searching them for 7 hours and snatching their computers, phones, and other digital media. Thankfully, they are getting their property back after they successfully sued the government in December 2012. Eugene V. Debs was the first person in history to be charged under the Espionage Act. As a social activist and pacifist, Debs spoke against World War I in a speech that took place on June 16, 1918, in Canton, Ohio. He believed joining the war was irrelevant and the nation's money could be used for more beneficial purposes. 2 weeks later, he was arrested under 10 counts of the Sedition Act and was sentenced to jail for 10 years. The Espionage Act violated the First Amendment and took away his freedom of speech and petition. When in jail, he ran for president and received nearly 1 million votes. 2.5 years later, he was released because of medical issues. The government has the responsibility of keeping us safe and letting us keep our rights instead of violating them. Debs has been nobly recognized for showing us how to declare and fight to maintain our rights as Americans. Establishing our rights should not be illegal. These ambitious people and more have risked their lives to prove this to the world. You can too. Visit thedayWeFightBack.org and support telling Congress to amend the USA Freedom Act, which curtails NSA surveillance abuse. I think it's not only the right, but the duty of an American citizen in Edward Snowden's situation to come forward, at great risk to himself, and inform his fellow citizens about what it is their government is doing in the dark that is illegal.